Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Ganguly and today I will discuss with you the third topic from the third chapter of history towards civil disobedience. In my last class, I have already discussed with you the non-violent non-cooperation movement was withdrawn by Gandhiji by the Chauri Chaura incident on February 1922. Gandhiji felt that the movement was turning violent in many places and satyagrahis needed to be properly trained before the mass struggles. In March 1922, Gandhiji was arrested and sentenced 6 years imprisonment. Remember students, the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement and imprisonment of Gandhiji led to the stagnation in the political system of Indian National Congress. Some of the Congress leaders, they are tired with the mass struggles and wanted to participate in provincial council, as they felt that it was important to oppose the British policies within the councils. Therefore, in the year 1923, Swaraj Party was founded by Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru within the Indian National Congress. Remember students, Swaraj Party was very important for 1 mark question in your board examination. Okay, let me tell you some interesting fact about these two personalities. Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das was renowned lawyer from Bengal and he was the first mayor of the Calcutta Municipal Corporation. And I hope you know that you are familiar with the name Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru was the father of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so in 1927, the British government, the British Tory government constituted a statutory commission under Sir John Simon, and that commission was named as Simon Commission. The main objective of the Simon Commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. Remember students, the objective of Simon Commission was very important for 1 mark question in the board examination. But the problem is, the Simon Commission did not have any Indian member and all the members are British. So therefore, Indians boycotted the Simon Commission. Remember, why Indians boycotted the Simon Commission is also an important question for the board examination. Okay, so in the year 1928, Simon Commission arrived India and greeted with the slogan, "Go back Simon." All the political parties like Indian National Congress, Muslim Leagues, they participated in the demonstration against Simon Commission. Okay, now in October 1929, Viceroy Lord Irwin gave a vague proposal of dominion status. I hope you know what is the meaning of dominion status, that is self-rule. Okay, and he also proposed that there would be a meeting in London to discussion about the Constitution of India. So, the Indian National Congress, they met at December 1929 at the Lahore session of Congress. This Lahore session of Congress was presided by one of the young leaders of Indian National Congress, that is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Remember students, the Lahore session of Congress was also important for 3 mark questions. Okay, the Lahore session Congress demanded the Purna Swaraj for India, and the Congress declared and the meeting declared that from the next year, that is 1930, 26 January would be celebrated as the Independence Day of India and a tricolor flag would be hoisted in every part of the country. Remember, this tricolor flag is known as Swaraj flag and that flag was designed by Mahatma Gandhi. Remember students, Mahatma Gandhi completed his 6 years imprisonment and he also joined the meeting of the Lahore session of Congress. Okay, and in the Lahore session of Congress, the Congress leaders also decided that they will send the 11 demands to the office of the Viceroy Lord Irwin, and if the demands was neglected, then Congress will organize non-violent civil disobedience movement. So, in January 1930, Gandhiji sent letter to Lord Irwin stating 11 demands. And among them, the most important demand was to abolish salt tax. Because at that time, salt was a taxable item and government had monopoly over its production. Gandhiji believed that now this was the time to organize a movement, because salt is a powerful medium which could unite both the rich and poor people and also the all people of India, because salt is a very necessary item in our food. So Mahatma Gandhi chose salt as a medium to organize the non-violent civil disobedience movement. 11th March, when Lord Irwin did not respond to the 11 demands of Gandhiji, then 11th March 1930, Gandhiji started his famous salt march from Sabarmati Ashram. And this salt march was accompanied by 78 followers, and they have to cross 240 miles in 24 days. On 6th April 1930, Gandhiji reached the coastal town of Gujarat, Dandi, and Gandhiji manufactured salt from the boiling seawater, and this marked the beginning of the non-cooperation movement. Thousands of people in different parts of the country broke the salt law, manufactured salt, and demonstrated in front of the governments. Remember, foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops picketed, and generally peasants refused to pay the revenue and the common people refused to pay the chowkidari tax. So this was in this way, generally the non-civil disobedience movements expanded in most of the part of India. And also we say that civil disobedience movement was once again proved to be a widespread movement. But the problem is the British government responded brutally towards the agitators and towards the revolutionaries. Many of the Congress leaders were arrested. Satyagrahis was tortured and exploited by the government. There is a report that 1 lakh Satyagrahi were arrested by the government. And Gandhiji was very feared by this British activity, and he decided to negotiate with Lord Irwin. So finally, on March 1931, Gandhiji decided to negotiate with Lord Irwin, and there was a peace treaty between Gandhiji and Lord Irwin, and that treaty was known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Remember students, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was very important for 3 marks question. In Gandhi-Irwin Pact, there was a negotiation that Irwin proposed to Gandhi to withdraw the non-civil disobedience movement, and Gandhiji responded that he will join the round table conference in London for the discussion of the future constitution of India. And by this, Irwin was agreed to free all the Satyagrahis who were arrested by the British government. So, on 1931, Gandhiji decided to join the second round table conference in London. But the problem is, the meeting of 7th round table conference was not been fruitful, and it was a diffused meeting. So therefore, Gandhiji came back in India and he started the second phase of civil disobedience movement. But the problem is, in the second phase, the civil disobedience movement lost its momentum. And finally, in the year 1934, Gandhiji decided to withdraw the civil disobedience movement. Okay, now students, we will see how the different social groups participated in the civil disobedience movement. Remember, this topic is very important for the both 3-mark question and 5-mark question. So I would tell you to please prepare notes on this topic. This topic is in the NCERT page number 65. So I will discuss you about the different groups, how they responded towards the civil disobedience movement. The first one is rich peasants group. In the countryside movement, the patidars of Gujarat and the Jats of Uttar Pradesh were active in the movement, and they were very hard hit by the trade depression and failing prices. So they demanded reduction in revenue and participated in the boycott campaign. Next one, that is poor peasantry. Generally, the poor peasantry also have the same problem. So, they wanted the reduction of revenue from the zamindars and they joined, but the problem is that the peasantry movement was generally guided by later on the All India Kisan Sabha and the Communist Party of India. So, now the peasantry movement was not being a part of the civil disobedience movement. Now, they were looked forward into they are attached to the communist movement and the Kisan Sabha movement. Next, that is working class. Industrial working class did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large numbers. I have already discussed with you, because generally the working class, they were now attached with the Communist Party of India, and the Communist Party of India basically think about the two groups, the peasantry and the working class. So, and these groups, peasantry and working class, they joined the most the radical movements. Okay, except this, in the Nagpur region, workers adopted boycott foreign goods against low wages and poor working conditions. There were strikes by railway workers in 1930 and dockyard workers in 1932. Thousands of workers in Chota Nagpur region participated in protest rally and boycott campaigns. Next one, that is the participation of industrialists and merchants. Remember students, the participation of industrialists and merchants, very important for 5-mark question. So, please very careful on these topic. Okay. As you all know that during the First World War, the Indian industrialists, they earned lot. Their income was generally increasing, because at that time all the British products, the import of the British products stopped because of the First World War, because all the British factories, they are engaged in the war manufacturing. So, Indian industrialists, they earned huge amount of capital because of the First World War. But after the war, generally obviously the British products once again flooded the Indian market. So, the business of the Indian industrialists basically hampered. So, these industrialists and merchants, they wanted protection against the import of foreign goods. Therefore, they formed Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress and Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, which is known as FICCI. Remember, two prominent industrialists as Purushottam Das Thakur Das and G.T. Birla, they are participated in the civil disobedience movement. Next, that is women, the participation of women. Remember, participation of women is also important for both 3 marks and 5 marks question. We generally see there is a large scale women participation in the civil disobedience movement. Generally, the earlier movement like Rowlatt Satyagraha or Swadeshi movement or non-cooperation movement, the women participation was very limited. But in civil disobedience movement, we saw large scale women participation. But most of the women, they belongs to the middle class family, and they are belong to the cities and towns. Many went to jail, and in urban areas, those women were high caste families. In rural areas, they came from the rich peasant households, and they feel that, and they began to see the service to the nation is the service of the duty of women. Next, apart from these attitude of the different social groups, there are limited participation of Dalits and Muslims towards the civil disobedience movement. You can see that the Dalits felt alienated in India because Dalits are regularly treated very low, and they are regularly tortured by the higher caste people. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar organized the Dalits into Depressed Classes Association in 1930, and Dr. Ambedkar made a clash with Gandhiji in the second roundtable conference, which was organized in 1931. And by this, they signed the Pune Pact. The Pune Pact was signed between Dr. Ambedkar and Gandhiji. Remember, Pune Pact was very important for 3 marks question. What was the conditions of the Pune Pact? The condition of the Pune Pact was that the Pune Pact gave depressed classes, that is means the Dalits, reserved seats in provincial and central legislative councils, and they were to be voted as general electorate. Okay, so this is the condition, so we can say that Dalit participation is very much limited in the civil disobedience movements, so they could not participate in the civil disobedience movements because they felt alienated and they were deprived in India. Same goes with the Muslims. The Muslim participated in the non-cooperation movement, but the Muslim participation was very low in the civil disobedience movement because the Muslim also felt alienated. Some of the Muslim intellectuals, they felt that they are minority in India, and India is basically a Hindu majority country. So therefore, from 1930s, the demand of the Muslim League, they are proposing for a new Muslim autonomous state, that is Pakistan. So we can generally saw how the different social groups participated in the civil disobedience movement. This is it for today. In my next class, I will discuss with the fourth topic, that is a sense of collective belonging. Thank you and have a nice day.